Hey guys, Gradius. This is a video for scatter plots. All right, so first you need to know a little bit of vocabulary terms for scatter plots. So we have the line of best fit, positive correlation, and negative correlation. And so we're going to be talking about all three of those things today. So when we're talking about scatter plots, we are talking about these types of data plots right here. So it's a way of collecting data when we have multiple data points and yeah, so we're comparing two sets of data points with each other, and we want to see how one variable affects the other variable. Okay, and if there's a relationship between those two variables or not. Okay, we also use what's called a line of best fit. It's a straight line that represents the data on a scatter plot. We use that to make predictions using our data. Okay, so let's get this vocabulary down, and then we'll talk about what all this means. Now, with scatter plots, here I have a scatter plot right here. It talks about beach visitors and average daily temperature. So if we look, we have our temperature ranges between 80 and 96, and our average beach visitors range from 75 to 600. Okay, and if we take a look, it looks like as the temperature increases, so does the amount of visitors. So as the temperature is increasing, so does the amount of visitors, which makes sense because of the fact that normally people go to the beach on hot days. Okay, so the hotter it is, the more people are there because they want to be in the water and out in the sun. So this right here would be a positive correlation. Okay, it's a positive correlation because the relationship between these two variables, my variables are temperature and visitors, as one variable increases, as my temperature increases, so does the amount of visitors. Okay. And also one way to look at it, if we were to draw a line of best fit, it would be a positive slope because it is a positive correlation. Now, a line of best fit, we cannot draw a straight line that goes through all these points. It's not possible, right? It's going to go all over the place. So what we would do is we would pick a good y-intercept, okay? And what we would do is we would try to draw a line that best represents this data. So I would choose my y-intercept to be 75, okay? And then what I would do is let me go ahead, I'm going to make this so it can be straight. I would draw a straight line that tries to encompass as much of the data as possible. Now, notice how there's not very many points that go onto this line right here. But if we look, there are probably an equal amount of points on each side of the line or very close to the line. Okay, so this would be my line of best fit. Now I would be able to write an equation of this particular line. Okay, so my y is visitors. Okay, and that is going to be equal to whatever my slope is times the amount of average daily temperature plus my y-intercept, which is 75. And now I would just want to calculate my slope here. And if I'm looking for another perfect point, it looks like I've got one right here. Okay, so I went from 75 to 450. So my rise is 375. And my run is 90. So 375 over 90. That would be my slope. I can then reduce this, of course, by dividing both by 5. I'm just going to do that real quick on a calculator to save us some time. So 375 divided by 5 is 75. 90 divided by 5 is 18. Okay, I think I can divide that again by 3, and I will get 25 over 6. Yikes, sorry. I don't know why it does this. And that's my slope. Okay, so this would be my line of best fit. It best represents the data. I can use this to make any prediction. So I would use this line. So if I want to predict that the temperature is 88 degrees, how many people would visit? Well, my prediction is 375 people would be at the beach if the temperature was 88 degrees based on this line of best fit. Okay, so that's all we're looking at today. So this is a positive correlation. It has my line of best fit has a positive slope, and my line of best fit is the line that best represents the data. So if we're looking at another one here, I have value of a car by age. So the value of a car, this is in thousands of dollars, and the number of years of how old the car is. Okay, so if we look, if we're trending downward, so it looks like as the age of the car increases, the value of the car decreases. So we got to ask ourselves, is this positive or negative? Well, because it's going down, it is negative. Okay. Whoops. So I have a negative correlation. Now, what I need to look at is what's my line of best fit. So I need to draw a line of best fit. I'm going to use a different color this time because my data points are in red. So I need to pick a y-intercept. I think I'm going to start right here at 10, 0. Okay. And then now when I draw my line, I need to make sure it is going the best representation of this data possible. Okay. And I think probably about right here would be pretty good. I'm going to go right about there. Okay, it shows that I have a negative correlation, and I think this would be the line that best represents this data. So now I want to write the equation of this line. Okay, so I need to first find my y-intercept. So when you do this, you guys, it's good to have perfect points. It makes writing the equation much easier. My y-intercept is 10. Okay, or it could be at 10. We could just say 10, but it is 10,000. Okay, and then if I wanted to find a perfect point on this graph, again, it's a little difficult sometimes. That's not a perfect point. Let's go with right here. It looks pretty good. So my rise is -6. And my run goes from 0 to 9. So -6 over 9, which is -2/3 x. And my x being the age of cars, and my y being the value of the car. So my value is going to decrease based on this equation right here. And now I can make a prediction. If I were to ask, well, what would be the average value of a car that's 7 years old? I would look at 7 and then find out what my y is. And this would be about $5,500. Okay, so $5,500 if it's 7 years old. Okay, so one last thing I want to look at is, let's skip this one. Let's look at what kind of correlation does a scatter plot like this have? So is this positive or negative, and can I draw a line of best fit? And the answer is this has no correlation. Okay, it's not positive and it's not trending negative. It's kind of just everywhere. It's a big blob. So there is no correlation. And that also means I cannot draw a line of best fit. So this would satisfy, this answer right here would satisfy everything I need for this particular scatter plot. Okay, this is just a random, this is something that's completely random, that's something that's not going to relate to one another. Okay, so that's all you need to know about scatter plots, guys. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.